probably a good thing to come in on, blowing vape smoke out. Hey, welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. And I'll just go ahead and let you know real quick, my guest that I had planned this evening is indisposed. And, these things happen. This is what happens when you have a live show. Sometimes people, can't make it. So it's okay. I still love the man. He's a good man. And Marshall, I hope everything goes well this evening. And, just take that time that you need for yourself. Sometimes, we need time, Pat. We need time to collect our thoughts. When the world is asking so much of us, it's like sometimes you just need to step away a little bit and, and get that camera straight. In the words of Jordan Peterson, you just got to clean your bedroom.
Yeah, you just got to clean your bedroom,
Oh, come on. Hit me with that Kermit talk. Sometimes you just got to clean your room.
You just got to clean your room.
I give that advice a lot. I give it quite often especially to my youngest. Yeah. When people come to me, and for some reason they do, and they tell me of all their woes and their troubles and how life is like not fair and things aren't good and they're not going the way they thought they would go, and I take it literally, and what's the opposite? Figuratively and literally is what I give it to. Jesus, I couldn't think of the word. And I give it to him physically, like literally and figuratively. Like, dude, clean your room. Like, clean up. And I fully believe that clutter in general in your life, whether it be physical, like actual clutter, I believe that creates just a madness in your brain, like almost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So, once you get, I always feel really good when everything is in its place and everything is clean and organized. I feel like now I can think, because when everything's disorganized, I have a trouble focusing on shit, which I think is a lot of my problem right now, because we're like 3/4 through the remodel of the house, when it's just like that last push.
Yeah.
Because, folks, I ran out of money. And as much as I love those guys that did all the work in the house, they work for money.
Yeah.
So, and shout out HD home repairs or
HD
home designs.
Home repairs.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. If you need any work done, they're like really, really good at what they do. But they do work for money. So, and I couldn't ask them to keep working without it. So, but we'll figure out the rest. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so it's just me and Pat tonight.
Ew.
And we're only going to be on for, maybe like another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a short one this evening. We're not doing the 3-hour talk. But at any rate, there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, we'll start off talking about the thing that happened yesterday with at the White House. This is why I sometimes, like, I don't want to open Twitter. Sometimes I don't want to open social media. Sometimes I want to be dumb to these things, because holy shit. Like, there's some really good stuff that's happening, and then there's stuff that, like, you go, hey.
Hair on the back of your neck raises.
Yeah, all my hackles go up, and I'm like, what was that? And you don't know, like, who's right and who's wrong. I mean, I know that there are some people that are like, yeah, he was wrong and he was right. There's people that are far left and far right that say.
I can understand frustrations on both sides.
Right.
One's in a war zone, and then one's now taking over a ship.
Yeah.
And trying to basically uproot all the evil, that's on that ship.
We'll just say right the ballasts.
Yeah, we'll say right the ballast, but like all the people that are hiding up corruption and from past president, administrations and
right.
But
I mean, look, I don't care who you are. That's a tough job.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's crazy is that it's a new person every 4 years. Sometimes it's a new person every 8 years, like if they get a second term. If they don't get a second term, then you put a new person in there. And I don't care. There's only one president in the United States, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
There's only one. So it's not like you're going into that position with like a lot of experience. I don't care who you are. And, you've been in government, sure. Maybe these people have been in government. They've been doing things a long time and they know everything. You don't know everything. Because I guarantee you when you sit in that hot seat, shit changes.
Oh, very quick.
There's been a lot of people that run on certain policies and things of that nature. And then when they get in there, it's like, oh, I can't do any of that.
Yeah, like different doors open. Different doors swing wide the fuck open as soon as they get in that chair. Yeah. And different opportunities present themselves. And, like everybody says, absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's just, I guess the bad part about all this is that it's left to humans. It's like.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. People, and I know, we live in a society, and thank God we do, because no matter what, if there was no government, if there was no police, if there was no form of, anything. Structure.
Yeah, societal structure.
We would be it would be chaos.
Yeah.
We as humans have shown that recently. I say recently within the last few, 5 or 6 years, we have, what was that experiment thing that they did? I think we've talked about it before, Chaz, where they took over like 5 city blocks.
Oh yeah, in Seattle.
Yeah. And it was immediately chaos.
Yeah.
And they did everything that they fought against. They were doing the same thing. And it's just because there has to be leadership.
Oh yeah.
In every situation, at work, at home, with your kids. I mean, there has to be a clear leader.
There's just like too high of a percentage of the population, in my opinion, that are just crazy. That if it were to go back to no law, no rule, right? They would be great in that environment because they're that fucking crazy. You know what I mean? They would be willing to take the risk to get to the top, whatever killing may be.
Right.
How to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you introduce like you said, like the cops wouldn't even show up there. They wouldn't.
No.
They wouldn't come anywhere near there.
Absolutely not.
People are getting killed. People get shot. I think 2 people got killed. I might be wrong, but
and there was that, and then of course the defund the police thing, and that backfired horribly.
Yeah.
I think they did it in I think it was L.A. and New York.
Yeah, and I think in some parts of the Midwest.
Yeah, and the cops were like, "You're on your own, fuckers."
Yeah.
And I mean, somebody breaks into your house, you're literally on your own.
Yeah.
And I think they were some of the places where they had the strictest gun laws too. So like you can't even protect yourself.
Yeah.
And there's no one coming to help you because you wanted to take stuff away. Because there might be a couple of shitheads, a few bad apples,
Yeah.
I can't believe, I have a hard time believing that every single cop out there is a bad cop. I know that's not true because I've met your father.
A lot of them are veterans. A lot of them already did something
true.
like this, but for a higher cause, like for now. This is local, so this means even more to them. Like this is where their roots are.
Yeah, this is where their family lives.
So
yeah, it's very rare that you see a cop driving from one county to another.
I've seen it like kind of often.
It's
county to county.
It's a rare occasion. Most of the time, they have to live where they're
local.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, most of the time they have to live in the county that they serve.
Yeah.
So in that regard, you want to keep your place safe. You want to keep your people safe.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's, if we focus on that, keeping people safe, that is a huge focus. That is a good thing to focus on. And that, that encompasses a lot of stuff. Right now, everybody's up in arms about corruption in the politics, and all that good stuff. And it's kind of scary when you start seeing it's like, I equate it to like what, and this is, folks, again, on me, I'm down the middle on everything and it's not that I don't want to choose a side. I don't, because I don't believe in that. I believe that you should be able to, like what you like and dislike what you dislike. But I'm fairly down the middle on everything. But to me, ever since all this stuff has been going on with the Doge and all that, I mean, I think it's a ridiculous name. I mean, it works. The acronym works, but come on. You got the Doge coin and shit. Come on. It's like when you turn the lights on in an old house and all the fucking cockroaches start scurrying about trying to run and hide.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hide from the exterminators. They will find you.
Yeah. Well, there was a Twitter post. I have it screenshot on my phone somewhere, but it was something along at the Google search results in D.C. area for Swiss bank accounts and lawyers, and it was up like 1,000% the first week Doge came in. And so, I mean, immediately you see rats jumping ship, looking for dry land. So,
yeah, not only that, but I mean, to me, when you oppose something, it's like when Internal Affairs goes into a police department and they're looking for, dirty cops or, whatever they look for.
Yeah.
No one says a word because they're like, yeah, you need to get those people out of there. And, it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone that he hired. He just happened to hire the fucking richest bitch in fucking almost the world.
There's a reason for that.
I don't know how to feel about that either. I have mixed emotions about that as well, but it could have been anyone. And I think that it should have been someone from the outside. I feel like you can't send someone that's intertwined in the government to go police the government because they're already bought and paid for. You just can't. And so you have to hire an outside company that's an unbiased company, which should be unbiased. That's the part I don't feel good about because he's not unbiased. He's definitely all in with Trump. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, Trump came out last week and said if there's a conflict of interest, that
he'd shut it down.
Elon's gone.
Yeah.
He said, but we already look at everything that he looks at and all the suggestions he makes and make sure that there is no conflict of interest.
Right.
So, I mean, there's like actual safety and checks and balances and protocols, So, but seeing the cabinet meeting the other day, like that's just legendary. That was
which one?
The cabinet. You have RFK, you have Tulsi Gabbard, you have Howard.
I don't think
Lutnick.
I saw that one.
It was his first cabinet meeting.
Okay.
And I think it was 2 days, Thursday maybe. I think.
Okay.
It was just legendary.
I'll have to check it out. I didn't see that. I did see this. Yesterday that Zelensky, they invited him to the Oval Office, and that was a mess. Yeah. It was a mess, and I think I'm gonna just say it was a mess on all parties.
Oh yeah.
I get where both parties are coming from. I understand the passion that Zelensky has for his people, but if you have a chance to stop people from dying, and I mean, I don't know shit about war, nothing. I've never been in a war. I've never been in the military.
Yeah.
But as a civilian, if I could if somebody was firing off, multiple rounds at me, I would, if I could get them to just stop for a minute and just let's talk. If we could talk and rationalize things, which I know is not always going to happen. You can't always do that. With certain people, you're not going to be able to do that. Can they do that with Putin? I don't know. Can they rationalize with somebody who's kind of taken over that country?
Yeah, I think there has to be a fine medium that both sides have to agree on. I mean, $350 billion we gave them, $100 billion gone uncalled for, like lost somewhere, not accounted for. Probably never even made it over there.
Yeah, or it did, and it just got
siphoned right back.
Well, I saw a breakdown of some of the shit that Zelensky owns.
Yeah, mansions and Bentleys.
Like 10 fucking mansions or some shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's hearsay, because if you see it in a post, do you believe it? Check your sources, like I said to Elliot that last time. But if I knew that shit was true, and he really owns all that shit and amassed all that wealth, you know, and you're coming over here to ask for more money, like, I have a problem with that.
Not only that, like, you're to the point where you're conscripting 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, people with Down syndrome, young kids, just turning 18.
Anybody that can hold up a gun.
Yeah, it's cannon fodder.
I don't know if it was real or not, but I did see a video, and it could have been a nondescript video. It could have been anywhere in the world, but you know, the description of the video said that it was a video taken in Ukraine, and they were literally these like 5 or 6 guys in full flak jackets and military garb jumped out. There was a dude walking down the street. They literally just snatched him up and threw him in a car and drove off.
There's so many videos of that. Yeah. So many videos.
Like I said, I don't know if that's real. Like, I mean, it was real.
Yeah.
Somebody did that somewhere and it got recorded on video. I just don't know if it's like, is that something that's like happening or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go on X real quick?
No, I don't want to go on X. But
you'll find it all over there. You type it in, you'll find it.
No, I just that's concerning. Like, you can't do that. You know, I mean, like, I don't think that's not very. I don't know, man. I don't even know the word. I don't have words for that, because if somebody was driving around in the United States, there's a lot of able-bodied men and women out here, and children out here right now, that, you know, if that were happening, if that were the case, you know, I mean, people over here would not stand for that shit. It would go. Yeah. It would not go over.
I want to say recruiting jumped up when Trump got inaugurated.
Yeah.
Like, on all military, like Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, everybody.
Well, I would hope that the men and women in our armed forces are smart enough to not do shit like that to our own people.
Yeah.
That they would say, fuck you. I know it's an order from whoever you fucking are.
Yeah.
But no, sir. You know, I'm not doing that.
Well, is it because people now would respect the order more so with this administration than the previous? You think is why people are joining? Well,
I don't know.
Safer.
I'm just talking about like our people would not go around snatching people up.
Oh no.
You know, I don't think that they would turn their guns on like American citizens.
Good luck doing that in Middleburg.
Well, I'm just talking about armed forces people, like our armed forces
jumping out of a vehicle, pistol whipping you.
If they were given the order to, all right, go round up every able-bodied person, do you think they would do it?
Oh.
Do you think they would follow those orders?
But that comes back to like when Rome fell, they conscripted foreigners into their military.
Yeah.
So, and that was one fear that people were having this past election cycle, was that all these illegals are coming in. Now, are they not only going to vote for the ones who are letting them in, or are they going to go to war for those folks? You know what I mean? To preserve some sort of rights that they got.
Well, and would we let them? You know, that's the thing. Like, if we have these laws that say you can't be here unless you're here legally, you should not be going to war.
Yeah,
you should not be. You should not be.
That should be like terroristic. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's slavery. I mean, you've literally just taken these people and you said, "Here's a gun, go fucking fight for us." I mean, now if it was one of those things where they would like waive the immigration, you know, for them and grant them, you know, and make it a choice. You know, you could do it the right way and it takes a lot longer, or you could do it this way and you could be done quick and we'll just waive it and you'll be a citizen. Yeah. I mean, that's different, but it's also divisive, you know, because you're dangling this carrot over their heads.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on.
Incentivizing for some of the worst reasons.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. The whole thing is strange, and it gave me a very uneasy feeling when he said the words, "You're instigating World War III."
Yeah.
I fucking gasped.
Well, he's been saying that, but just not to his face. You know what I mean? So now that it was face to face, like gloves off.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pucker factor.
Well, not only that, but like JD was cognizant of it too, and he was like, "All right, he's like, we're doing all this shit.
Let's go litigate."
Well, he's like, we're litigating all this here in front of all these cameras, and Trump goes, "No. That's why I wanted him here. I want everybody in America to see this shit." Yeah. But again, Americans, they make their mind. They're one way or the other. Some people are going to be like, "This is great," and some people are going to go, "He's a fucking moron." Me, I'm kind of like, holy shit. It's just a holy shit moment.
First thought for me, I was like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
Like finally something like this has been said.
Yeah.
Face to face.
Yeah.
Because it's both sides have had these feelings.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And to see how each other reacts face to face, it was good to see, in my opinion.
Well, it's a real, I think there was some theatrics involved for the cameras. Personally, I think it got a little, game showy.
Yeah.
When he just wouldn't let him talk. Like, Trump would not let Zelensky, like you ask somebody a question, fucking let them answer it.
Yeah.
And then you answer that, or you can rebut that answer. If you don't like the way they answered or if they said something stupid, let them finish and then open your mouth and say something. But you don't just keep cutting them off. Granted, there were some slights that
he threw, that Zelensky had thrown. Yeah.
One of the things that
you will soon feel the repercussions.
Yeah. And I saw there were some people that kind of like had their theories about why he said that. And they were like, it's less about like, them coming across the pond, across the water and invading here. They were talking more of like a conservationalist. I'm like, I don't think that's what he was saying. He wasn't talking about weather.
He was talking about communism.
Yeah.
But he is in fact a communist.
Right. I don't know a lot about Zelensky, but I've always been weirded out that we're just like, I've always been weirded out by the fact that we fund anyone. I get that there's a United Nations and that everybody kind of gives a little bit to the countries that need help. But from what I understand, the United States is paying more than everybody.
Oh, yeah. The bucket that we pour into the pot of cash is way bigger than everybody else's.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's concerning. Yeah. And the fact that, like, for some reason, I did get the feeling it was like a teenager asking for money from dad, and dad said no, and the teenager threw a fit. That was kind of like the feeling I got from that conversation. Again, just a feeling. I'm not saying whatever. I'm just telling you that's kind of how it made me feel when I was watching it. I was like, come on, dude. Everybody got a little crazy, and it could have been handled a lot better. But to your point, I've always felt weird about sending money there, and there's people that are like, and it's a lot of like, actors and shit like that.
Yeah. Because
they're all on one way, and because that's the narrative. They have to follow that. Yeah. Otherwise they don't get money, or they don't get jobs. But when people are like, pay them money, let's keep paying them money, and it's just like, for what? I mean, they're fighting over there. We didn't start this. Did we have something to do with that? Mm-hmm. I mean, did we?
So
did we have anything to do with Russia invading Ukraine?
It's a culmination of
because I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know these things.
Well, so this is the most beautiful part about like this alternate media that's coming about is you have people like Dave Smith or General McGregor, I think his name, McGregor. You got a few other individuals that like go in depth on the history of all of this, going back to when Clinton was there back in, I believe, the late 80s, and they were set to sign a deal for Crimea and everything. Or no, they were actually, excuse my ignorance, they were set to sign a deal with NATO. And basically it was not to exceed this threshold for Russian security purposes, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like the example that has been given. What if Russia came over here and occupied Mexico? How would we feel? We would obviously go in and fuck them up because that's just way too close. Mm-hmm. So he didn't want this big infantry army, mechanized army with sophisticated weapon system on the border of his country. I mean, plain and simple. That's common sense. So And then you also have 2014 when Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were in Burisma, and the sole purpose of that was to cut off gas lines from Russia and have Ukraine supply strictly to Europe through Germany to France and all these other countries. So it was multifaceted. It was very strategic, and there's more beyond that. With stuff going on in the Middle East and how we're funding proxy wars against Russia and yada yada yada. So the 30,000 foot view has so many different things in it. So it's just been piling up for a long time, and that's why there's such a big fear of like World War III, because it's been one thing after another that we have not listened to.
Right.
So it's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Do you think that that what happened yesterday, that it showed strength or it showed weakness in us?
Strength, I think, because we're not putting up with anything. I mean, $350 billion, and it's still going on.
And he said he only actually received 50 million or some shit.
No, I think he didn't receive 100 billion of the 350. So I think he got roughly 250, 240 to him, or Ukraine got it.
Yeah,
whether it be in weapons. I've heard that there's been generals riding around with Bentleys with duffel bags of cash in the back. So there's all these stories of how this money just trickles down into pockets.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing with like the Doge. I mean, like anytime a bill is passed to like offer aid or whatever, what was it? What was the one? It was a Build Back Better or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it was like this big.
Yeah, 1,500 pages.
1,500 fucking pages.
They had 2 days to read it. And
like who's gonna, and we say who's gonna read it, but then Elon and who was it? Cash? No, not Cash, but it was somebody else.
Vivek.
Yeah, Vivek. They read it. They actually read it and broke it down.
Fat out.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the thing. How long has that been going on? For fucking years.
Yeah.
Like when anything's passed, there's all this pork and like bullshit that's in there that has nothing to do with the thing that you're trying to pass.
And most of these get siphoned off to NGOs.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. All of this pork and all this bullshit that's in this bill, it's like, where can we put our money? They're like stashing it away, I guess.
But it's just a whole bunch of like senators and congressmen coming together with their buddies and saying, let's start a business. Let's fund this NGO.
It's just a clusterfuck.
How do you fund a non-government organization with government money and still call it non-government organization? That is hypocritical to the core. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So in my opinion, that is just an extension of the government.
Yeah. It's real fucky.
It breeds corruption.
There is a lot of fuckery that's been happening, and we're kind of seeing it now. You know, we haven't seen it ever, and we've just been blissfully ignorant.
Peeling that fucking thing off, peeling that dirty fucking rug up and seeing what's underneath it.
Right.
It is just crazy.
So, off of that topic, because that's really depressing.
Ah.
I want to talk about something really, really good that happened last week.
Listen up.
It involves you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Pat, as you all know, is my son-in-law, and he's been with my daughter and in my grandson's life since he was like 6 months old. And last week, was it last week or the week prior? We'll just say last week, just for
20th February, I think.
Yeah. He adopted my grandson. So give yourself the
I'll even.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I love that kid, man.
Well,
pride and joy.
You know, I almost wish that they would have let us give some testimonials. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I think this one was pretty clear cut though. Where
I just
testimonials. Yeah.
It would have been dramatic.
Oh yeah,
it would have been good.
It would have made everybody else cry longer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I would have probably cried. I cried when I made that post. Dude, like, it's something that I'm close to, because I did the same thing.
Yeah.
With your wife,
and it's beautiful.
And I adopted her when she was 2, and which was shortly after she came into my life.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that girl the first time I met her, and I'm going to tell that story real quick. I'll never forget it. Her mother and I were just barely dating, and And I was she was over in Regency Mall. This is how long ago that is.
Wow.
Yeah, the mall was open.
She still had her ceiling in it?
Yeah. It was still open. So she was there buying something, and I was at my friend Jason's house, God rest his soul. And he lived in that area right there by the mall. Like, we could have walked to the mall.
Oh, nice.
And so I just happened to, like, I don't remember. I think I just barely had a cell phone at that time. Yeah, it definitely wasn't on a smartphone. But I called her and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Hey, I'm at the Regency Mall." I was like, "No way, you're like right by us. You want to meet for lunch?" And she's like, "Well, I got my daughter." And I knew how she felt about that.
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't want to, we've been dating for a couple of weeks, and she was like, I don't want to introduce my kid to no men because until I know they're going to be hanging around for a while. And I totally get that. But I said, don't worry about it. If that's, if you're like worried that it's going to run me off or something, don't worry about that. But if you want to come, I'm going to go to the Applebee's and chill. I'll be there. If you want to come on over. So I went there, and they met me there. And I was sitting there, and Gabby wanted to sit next to me. She wanted to sit she was sitting on the left of me, and her mother was sitting across from me. And her mom, you know how they,
like
that whole family.
out probably.
Oh, dude, she was having a fucking conniption fit.
Yeah.
Because she was like, she's going to do something. And that kid did not want to eat her food. She didn't want to eat her food.
Yeah.
And and I'm sitting there trying to eat mine and talk to her, and Gabby wasn't having it. She was interested in me.
Oh.
She was like, she took an interest in me, and she was so funny because when they first got here, she had this thick like Chicago accent, and she was introduced to me as James. And when her little voice, she had the squeakiest little fucking voice, and it was so cute. But she was like, hey James, I'm gonna feed you this food over, like a little mobster, like a little gangster. And she started feeding me her food, and I mean, we went on, and I was not, her mom was like, "Oh, stop doing that, Gabby, stop doing that." And I was like, "It's fine, just fine. I'll feed her some of my food," and she would actually eat that way, and it was fun, and I like the look in her, the joy in her little face. I mean, it was like you couldn't help but fall in love with her. She was the sweetest little thing, and that was the day I met her. But and then it just snowballed and escalated, and shortly thereafter we moved in together, and we were all living together, and that was a new experience for me because I had been a single guy up until that point, and it was weird to be living with a child. I was like, I don't know what to do, and I had to like, am I supposed to discipline this child? Like, what am I supposed to do? Because, she was a ball of energy.
Oh, yeah.
When she was little. And I didn't know what to do with all of that. I was always tired, and I worked like 4 p.m. to like midnight or 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
So I would be dead ass tired when I got home, sleep a little bit, and then she would go to work, and I'd have to be up with her, and then on my days off, it was just me and her, So I'm like, look, if I'm going to be here with this kid, like, she's going to listen to what the fuck I say.
Oh, yeah.
And she, and her mom was like, nope, that's fine. Do whatever you got to do. And so I was raised with corporal punishment. We got our asses handed to us. So I was like, all right, she would act up or do crazy shit, and she's just being a kid. And we were both like, neither one of us knew what to do. So I'd be like, she would do something wrong or bad or break something, and I would pop her ass, and she would laugh. She would laugh. I know what I'm talking about, because Liam does the same shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because she was laughing at me. It was because that's what she did when she was nervous.
Yeah.
So
Definitely genetics.
Once I learned that, I was like, this is not working.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch this girl like that anymore. I'm not going to put my hands on her like that. I'm going to give her love. And it worked. She responded to positivity. Even all the way up through, when she was a young or early teen, preteen, like she'd be sitting there and somebody might be trying to help her with her homework and, might be yelling at her, and she would literally lock up and just shut down.
Yeah.
But at any rate, that was kind of like you know, and then when we had her sister, but the kids were like the most important part of my life. And, you know, yes, I took my marriage very seriously and I loved my wife and, you know, but the kids had a different spot in my heart.
Yeah.
They had a different spot in my life. They were on a different level. You know, I don't know how else to put it. You know, like I'm here. There's like it's like God, your mother, but the kids were up here.
Yeah,
you know, they were way above everything else because they literally like fucking. I don't know. There was something about them that was very. They were so curious and they wanted to learn, and it was just like I put them on a pedestal.
I feel like ever since I've been, you know, in Liam's life, it's made me feel like I've had no choice but to work my ass off. You know what I mean? Like, or
you can't be selfish.
Exactly. Not only that, but like just setting an example. You know,
that's a big part.
Like next weekend, my mom's gonna have a yard sale, and so we're gonna be selling lemonade, sodas, water, donuts, yada yada, maybe hot dogs.
Sweet.
We'll see. But I want him to get to a point where he can get comfortable with transactions with people, and interactions. You know, and so you start thinking about these things like, how can I tailor, like my father did with me, to be such like what my wife likes to call a social butterfly. You know, it's like. How can I?
You know, no strangers.
Yeah, I mean, and
she used to be that way.
Yeah,
I think I conditioned her accidentally to be more like me.
Yeah,
I'm totally antisocial.
That's funny. But see, like my mom is a social butterfly. My dad, he can be. You know,
right?
He just has to get to know you, I guess. So
you got to warm up.
Yeah,
you know, he is overqualified to start a conversation and hold the conversation.
Oh yeah,
he's very smart and very knowledgeable. And yes, your mom kind of just jumps right in there,
dude.
You know, I love that about her. That she doesn't know, and I think that's a good trait to have. You know, to a point.
Yeah,
especially with kids. You know, like I always worried. That was one of the things that I worried about with Gabby when she was little, was that she didn't know any strangers. And like when we, you know, like the first time I went, like we were like going into the stores and stuff to go grocery shopping with the family.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I'd never been shopping with this kid. And she just like walks off and like gives random people hugs. And she's like, "Hi, I'm 3 years old." You know.
Love you.
Yeah. Yeah. She's so like, and she would be telling them that her name and her address and all this shit. Cause you know, you have to teach them early for school and all this. And she's just like, "Yeah, I'm 3 years old. My name's Gabby," you know, and she would just talk. And then the people would be, luckily they'd be like, "Cool."
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I've had some discussions with Liam about sharing information about himself. Right. Yeah. Cause it's just, like your heart grows so big when you have children. You know what I mean? Like your capacity for love is just so big at that point.
Yeah.
Because they're just so precious to you.
Well, and before they come into your life, it's only you. You think only about yourself.
Correct.
And especially guys, for sure. I can't speak for women because I've never been a woman. But for men and young boys and growing up, first of all, we're fucking invincible in our brains.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing can hurt us.
That's why Coke is fucking dangerous.
Coca-Cola?
I've never done Coke. But no, that's why I've seen people that are just overly confident and cocky, and then it's 10 times when they're on Coke. And it's just like, sorry, I didn't mean to get
No, you're good. No. I was like, is he talking about Coca-Cola? Because all it made me want to do was just run. You know, walk, go. But
the invincibleness, yes.
Yeah, but we all thought we were invincible, and we only thought of ourselves. Now, I mean, I grew up with 2 sisters, and my mom, I was like the man of the house, even though there was a stepdad there for like a short period of my life. For the most time, I was the man of the house. I was the dude, you know. And when you are in that state of mind and you are not prepared to take care of other people, it can be weird. It's a weird feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what is happening right now? It's like going on a roller coaster. You don't know if it's going to jerk right or left or up or down, or is it going to fly off the rails? Like, what's happening? But
I think that just shows that you have compassion.
Well, yeah.
You know,
and you
give a fuck. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And you grow up.
Yeah, real quick.
Real fucking fast. And you realize that the world does not revolve around your asshole. There's other shit in this world that's more important.
Yeah.
And it's family.
Because you were that baby once that needed to be clothed and fed and housed, and you appreciate everything that your parents did for you, and you want to do better than what they did, you know?
Right.
So.
Somebody said something the other day, and I'm going to fuck it up, but I can't remember who it was. But it's like, that there's parents out there that want to give their kids everything they didn't have.
Yes.
But they failed to give them the things that they did have.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you are instilling that in Liam, we're going to go and we're going to sell stuff. We're going to, we're going to be social, and we're going to do those things.
Yeah, I used to do that in my brother's high school car washes growing up, 3 or 4. We're going to just out there selling shit.
Yeah.
Well,
and you're giving him things that you had.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, and you just like, you gave him the iPad, you gave him an iPhone, you gave him the fucking whatever.
Yeah.
All the things, all the toys, all the things. And it's just like, I want him to have everything he ever wanted in his life, and I don't want him to have to want for anything. However, if you don't give him those things, the most important things, teaching him about life, that's where we fuck up as parents. And I think a whole generation did that.
Well, and it really put it into perspective for me, is because my dad explained about 6 months ago. He said, when I worked for the sheriff's department, I didn't know if I was ever going to be coming home that night. It's true. So I had to make sure you knew how to cut the grass and fix the sink, and make sure you're taking out the trash and doing the dishes, yada yada. Because I needed, no kid should have this position, but if you needed to be the man at the house, I needed you to be that.
Right.
Love my brother, but he was 18 at the time and wasn't as reliable. So, but that's put things in perspective for me about passing down knowledge really quick and just making sure he's set up for success.
Yeah.
So, because he's gonna have a family of his own one day, I hope.
100%.
I hope.
100%. And and then you'll be G-Did.
Yeah.
G-Pop, whatever the fuck you decide. I'm trying to transition from G-Did. I didn't want to be Grandpa, Paw, P-Paul, none of that shit. So I was like, I don't know. I just pulled it out of my ass whenever they asked, "What do you want him to call you?" And I was like, "He can call me G Diddy." And it was all cool in the gang for a minute.
And then Jim started raping people. And
no,
getting blackmail on them. And
no, sir. Yeah, that's a joke. I don't rape them unless they ask.
Unless it's consensual.
Yeah, there's kinks. It's whatever. But I'm gonna shift from that conversation because we don't have much time left. But next week, I want to bring this up because I'm pretty excited about this. And I talked about it on my little reel that I made today, or whatever you want to call it, post reel, whatever the fuck it was. But Dr. Berlin, Dr. Berlin, the Third State, Secrets of the Manor. It is actually, you can find this now if you go on Amazon and you look up the Third State, Secrets of the Manor, and also Barnes & Noble, and I believe on her website. I think you can buy it there as well. And it is...
Go to her website so you give her traffic.
For sure, go to her website. I'm not... We'll have to put that in the description. I'm not 100% on the website. I know I have it. It's in my email. She emails me. God bless her heart.
She's a surgeon.
Yeah. She's very... I feel like I'm going to have to be on my best behavior with Dr. Berlin.
I don't know. I feel like we might be able to cut it up a bit.
Well, you know me, I don't hold back for anybody. But I'm excited to sit down and talk to her about her process, and she was military, so I want to talk about her life in the military. She is a doctor. She's a surgeon, I believe. So I want to talk about those things as well and get to know her, and then we can get a little bit more into the book as well. I don't want to start talking about all the details that are inside the book because then you won't want to read it. Okay, it's Dr. Berlin, Berlin, drberlinauthor.com. drberlinauthor.com. So
up on the screen.
Go there. Just give her page some traffic, if nothing else. But you can also, I believe, you can purchase her book there as well. I think this is her first book.
I believe so as well.
Should I read the back of the book to the people?
Yeah, let's hear it.
In a bustling outdoor market, an ordinary woman is assassinated in broad daylight. 12 years later, the killer is back with a new target and a mysterious, sinister employer, Sophie Allard. A jet pilot cadet finds her world shattered when she's summoned to the commander's office with devastating news. Her estranged father has died in a mysterious lab explosion. But what begins as a routine investigation soon plunges Sophie into a deadly web of secrets as she uncovers her father's ties to a powerful organization known as the Third Estate. Sophie finds herself hunted by an assassin, while the enigmatic Gray Lady pulls the strings behind the scenes. Sophie must navigate a perilous landscape of secrets, lies, and danger to find the truth. Exactly. A gripping, high-stakes thriller that seamlessly blends espionage, mystery, and intense suspense. The Third Estate Secrets of the Manor is perfect for fans of complex conspiracies, strong female protagonists, and unpredictable twists. Will Sophie recover the truth before it's too late?
Whoa.
I suck at reading, guys. Okay, I'm not good at it, and I'm doing my best to read this book. And Dr. Berlin, like I said in the little thing, please don't hate me. I have not read through the full book. We are making progress. Gabby has given me the Cliff Notes because she read it, but it's available on Kindle. Okay, there's no audio version of it yet. I kind of talked with her a little bit when we spoke on the phone. I'm like, hey, I mean, I suck at reading, but I can read line by line and then chop them all together. And if you want me to put something together, I'll put it together for you. That's a project that I wouldn't mind doing.
That'd be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and that way, my voice, you'll hear my stupid voice for the audiobook. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be really cool.
I mean, anyways, but please tune in next week when we bring you Dr. Berlin, and we're going to talk about all the cool stuff. And then after that, we've got another cool guest coming up after that. You know him. Yeah, you've met him here before, Jaylani. He's going to bring one of his mentees in, and it's going to be interesting. And I'm glad that he's coming back on. It's been too long. I wanted to have him right back. Right, just like another turnaround, just real quick, and bring his mentee in here, at least one of them. I mean, capacity, we can only have so many people in here. But for sure, we're going to get to meet one of the young men that he's been mentoring, and I'm excited to talk to that person, and we'll get the skinny on everything. So I'm not real sure past that, because I haven't really booked anything, Pat. I'm just kind of, I've been a little slack. So, but that's my whole gig.
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's why we do live.
Shoot from the hip.
Exactly. We do things live, so I don't have to edit anything.
Yeah.
We try to get the audio perfect, so I don't have to edit audio. I don't have to edit video. I don't want to do any of that shit. I just don't. So it's easier for me to do it live, and that's why we do it this way. So anyways, guys, I thank you for, did anybody pop in?
Just one person, but nobody commented.
Okay, it's okay. We thank you for showing up. And thanks for watching. We've been having some really great numbers on YouTube. I'm sure that the audio page would have a lot more numbers if I would put some stuff up. But yet again, I do that at my leisure, and I haven't had a lot of that lately, so I'm just going to do it whenever I feel like it. But at any rate, guys, I look forward to seeing you all next week and being engaged and asking questions for Dr. Berlin. Anything you want to know, go buy the book right now, and then we can talk about it next week. All right, guys, we'll see you. Love you.
Bye-bye.